Good morning all, welcome. Here we are in Paris Orly Airport. Payware scenery, but you can't see a whole lot of it because it's awful dark outside. But we are a Ryanair flight and we're heading over to Luxembourg. Probably not a realistic flight for Ryanair. And we're in our old friend, the Boeing 737 Zibo Mod. However, I'm a little disappointed that we don't have a jet bridge. And let's see here. Where would I need to go to get a jet bridge? Just 2 gates over, and I'm at A41. If I went over 2 gates, I think I'd have a jet bridge. So let's do that. I believe, okay, let's take a look outside. Oh, we have a jet bridge. Let's see, it will attach as well. Okay, let's get that jet bridge detached. See a hint of sunrise on the horizon. Oh, what's going on here? What's going on here? I think the previous pilot didn't set the parking brake. The airplane started to roll a little bit. Thankfully, we're still in range of the jet bridge. You can see this air conditioning pack on the lower part of the jet bridge. That's used to provide low air pressure for air conditioning, like the airlines. Ryanair, I'm sure, doesn't want their crews to run the APU excessively, especially when they're attached to the jet bridge. So let's hop aboard. We have our virtual first officer with us this morning. And it's cold and dark.
Unable to find view ID 15.
Oh.
Unable to find view ID 14.
I forgot that this aircraft, this modification was just updated. And when it updated, I didn't bring my cameras over. I'm just going to quickly move into the Zibo Max and steal their camera settings. Good morning. Well, here we are in the 737 MAX jet. It's a bit different than what we're used to with the Zibo Mod, but all I'm going to do here, first of all, let's make sure they're available. Okay.
Unable to find view ID 8. Unable to find view ID 7.
Actually, unfortunately, some of the best cameras are not here. I hate to do this. I'm going to go to the 737 Ultimate, see if their cameras are better. One of my favorite add-ons is X camera, and I use a Razer Orbweaver for camera control. It's just like having a smaller version of the keyboard with you, but the difference is each button can be assigned to not only a keyboard command, but also a joystick command or a mouse command. So it's very, very versatile. Here we are. What do we got here?
Unable to find view ID 8. Unable to find view ID 14. Unable to find view ID 14. Unable to find view ID 8. Unable to find view ID 6. Unable to find view ID 5.
This camera set, well, shoot, I was going to say it's good enough, but you know it really isn't. I know yesterday I flew the Tolless Airbus, and that had the good camera set, so let's go back to that aircraft. Hey, love bug. Sally, my co-pilot. Well, I don't know if she's a co-pilot. I can't run any checklists with her. We have a virtual co-pilot today. Okay, oh my goodness, I know I'm in a TOLUS right away when I hear that noise.
Hello Stud Muffin. My name is Christy. I am your first officer today.
Good morning, Christy. I see this plane is rolling away as well. Let's get over to the plugins, X camera control panel. And I'm going to copy the camera set. That's all I wanted to do here. We'll go back to our trusty Boeing. Let's add that camera set to X camera here in the Boeing. We'll choose autocorrect.
Hello Stud Muffin. My name is Christy. I am your first officer today.
Nice to meet you, Christy. Let's just do a camera check and see what our cameras look like here in the Okay, that's fine. Maybe a little, I'm gonna modify these cameras just a little bit since they came from the Airbus. Back a little bit. Maybe up just a little. Sit tall in the saddle. That's okay. This should be on the FMS, so let's drop it down a bit and back out. And maybe we'll center it a little bit better in the screen. That's good. This camera
Unable to find view ID 5. Unable to find view ID 8. Unable to find view ID 6.
This camera is going to be an MCP camera. So let's go up. We want to, maybe we'll go down just a little bit, and actually no, up, and we'll show some advanced camera options. This one we're going to disable the zoom and retain, or not retain the mouse look. Okay, and then I want to see what we have here. number 6. Number 7.
Unable to find view ID 8. Unable to find view ID 8.
Number 8. Let's check to see if there are any conflicts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There is no 12. Okay. There's 10, 11. There's no 12. This particular camera, I like a really wide perspective. This is the camera I'll use for taxiing if I'm a little lost at the airport. Oh, look at this payware scenery. This Orly airport is looking wonderful. Just like this. That'll give us a great taxi camera. Oh. Okay, and then we have one more camera that we can use. We'll say this one. It's not my favorite, but that'll be number 12. Check the assignments one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. I actually have 20 buttons on my Orbweaver, but I only saved 15 to the cameras because the top 5. Well, number 1 button toggles between the main views, and then the other buttons on the top are the default buttons. One of them is the HUD, one of them is forward with no cockpit. Those are the ones that are on top. Okay, I think we are getting better. We're moving along. We're moving right along, as the old song says. How you doing, Christy? She has been waiting patiently. She actually finished her pre-flight walk-around a whole lot earlier than anyone thought she would. I guess it might have been a little cold outside. If I were her, I sure wouldn't want to spend any more time out there than I had to. Let's move this just a little bit over to the left, or to the right rather. Center. Oh, other way. Center it a little bit. There we go. We don't seem to have ground power available, so we're going to have to fire up the APU right away. First thing we'll do is get some battery power on the airplane. I'm going to turn on the nav light. Let folks outside know that we have activity here. And let's reach down. Oh, we'll turn on the left fuel pump to give the APU some fuel. And press and hold down 1, 2, 3, and a little bit more. Hold down that APU button until I get some little bit of exhaust gas movement on the EGT gauge. Here you can see in the just a little up and to the left of the APU switch is this little gauge, exhaust gas temperature. And we'll watch the exhaust gases heat up that probe. There they go. Climb all the way up. I'm going to turn on the emergency exit lights. Let the folks in the cabin have a little illumination in case someone back there needs to find the exits. While I'm waiting for that to dive down, why don't I come over here to the electronic flight bag and start the flight leg. We have APU available. Let's use it. Crank up some of these lights. Boeing numbers their panels, 1 from the left to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to start with panel number 1 at the bottom, and I'm going to do a flow. Fuel pumps right now are turned off. The crossfeed is not on. Displays are automatic. Controls are normal. Navigation are on VHF, IRS, and FMC are all normal. Yaw damper can be turned on. You can hear the cabin crew back there in the back. Flight controls and alternate flaps switches are guarded. We'll come up here to the top. We'll do a flaps and slats test. The ELT or emergency beacon or emergency transmitter switch is guarded. I'm going to align the IRSs, align and then nav, align and then nav. I don't like to cycle through that switch quite that quickly. I'm going to go to this upper dial and I'm going to spin all the way to the right, the lower portion of this dial all the way to the right, and that will tell me how long I have left in the alignment process. While I'm up here really cranking my neck hard to see this area, I'm going to make sure the interphone is in the off position for right now. I can turn the dome light on a little brighter here. Here's a service interphone. I'm going to turn on the microphone to the PA system. The microphone is set to the public address system, and I'm not going to have any speakers on from up here, but this is a backup radio. Use this radio to make public address announcements. Engine electrical switches are guarded. Crew oxygen is fine. Passenger oxygen, the switch is guarded. If you flip that switch and hit that button, all those oxygen masks over the seats are going to fall, and your flight will suddenly come to an abrupt and unceremonious end. That would not be good. I'm going to check to make sure I've got 3 green on the landing gear. We will do a mock overspeed test. There it is. We'll check the flight recorder. Switch is guarded and normal. It might be a little too early for the stall warning test. I'll try. I don't think I'm going to get it quite yet. Nope, a little too early for the stall warning test, but we'll come back and get that one. Panel number 2. Wipers are turned off. The bus transfer power is currently on the bus from the APU. Ground power is not available. Standby power switches are guarded. Battery voltages are fine. We're on the APU generator. We're on the APU right now. APU voltages are fine. Number 3 panel. A 10 button works. Chimes are on. Fasten seatbelt signs are on. Emergency exit lights are on. Equipment cooling switches are normal. And
turn on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please recheck the security of your seatbelt.
Rheostats are turned up. Number 4 panel. Pressurization is fine. Let's go to our electronic flight bag and we will choose the Abby tab, airport. Goodness me, I have done something that I've done before, but I'm always a little embarrassed about it. I have forgotten the airport code for Paris Orly, the airport that we're at. So I'm going to pull up my sim brief helper. There it is. LFPO. Lima, Foxtrot, Papa, Oscar. Elevation is 291. That's what I'm looking for right now. We might need more information a little later on, but all I wanted now was the elevation. 291. So we'll come up here into our pressurization panel and we'll put 291 as our landing altitude, or 300 as close as we can get to it. Just in case we have a problem, we need to come back. I should have left that sim brief helper out just a little while longer while I got the cruising altitude. The great thing about sim brief helper is it keeps you on the same image screen. If you were to click on a web page, you would lose this image, or conversely.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final boarding call for your flight. Please proceed to the departure gate. Thank you and have a pleasant journey.
Let's cruising altitude is flight level 190.
Flight attendants, doors on automatic, cross-check and report.
For right now, the pressure panel is fine. I will put on dual bleed. We're going to be using dual bleed here in just a bit when we start the engines. For right now, we'll turn the packs to auto. Again, we're getting air conditioning from the jet bridge. You can hear the fans in the background. Cabin temperatures are fine.
Flight attendants, arm doors for departure.
Cabin temperatures are a little on the low side, but they're fine. Oh, a little warmer. The left pack and right pack are supplying 19 degrees, but the cabin right now is showing 15 degrees. So we'll monitor that. How about the mock air
Flight attendants, please prepare for gate departure.
stall warning test? Still a little bit too early for those. We've got 3 minutes left in the align process.
Ladies and gentlemen, the aircraft doors have now been closed. So at this time, all electronic equipment needs to be turned off and left off until 10 minutes into our flight. If you come aboard with a mobile phone, please check now to make sure it's turned off and left off until we are at our destination. My name is Bill, and on behalf of the entire crew, we would like to welcome you aboard. In just a minute, we'll be showing you a very important safety video, so we ask for a few minutes of your undivided attention for this important message. Thank you again, and welcome aboard.
Brake is on, thrust levers are on, showing 3 down, green on the landing gear. Landing gear handle is down. Let's do a fire test on the APU. Oops. We'll do a fire test on all 3. I turned when I flew the Airbus the other day, I turned down all these volumes because the engines were just incredibly loud. And I think today I can turn all the volumes back up. That's more like what I wanted to see. Cargo fire. Now I'm going to do a systems test.
Glide slow. Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Obstacle. Obstacle. Pull up. Airspeed low.
And we'll do a lights test. Turn on every element in the house. Also, before I sat down, I would have checked the aircraft documents. I would have checked the fire extinguisher, make sure that arrow's in the green. I would have looked for the crash axe, first aid kit, airworthiness certificate, manuals. I would have checked the minimum equipment list. I would have looked at these gripes and squawks from the previous flight. Light test seems to be good. We'll check the light bulbs here on the autopilot enunciator panel on both sides. And we'll check the crew oxygen. At least I'll do my side. I'll let the first officer do her side. There you can hear the little wisp of oxygen coming off of there. And that test is fine. Number 1 radio is on my side. I only want to listen to 1 radio, so I'm going to turn off the number 2 radio. The microphone is on number 1 radio, and I'm going to put the first officer's microphone on the number 2 radio, but we're only listening to number 1 for right now. I want the marker beacon light on, and I want nav 1 on. I want to listen to the VORs, and I want to listen to the marker beacons. I'm going to move the transponder switch into the traffic advisory mode. Did I do the, okay. Make sure we get all the tests out of the way. That's looking pretty good. Let's set up the flight management computer. Verify our engine our airplane make and model, the engine rating, 26,000 pounds. Do a position initialization. We are at, and again, silly me, I have forgotten the airport that we're at. LFPO, point. ELLX. Okay, 20. Go to the next page, grab one of these GPS coordinates while we're sitting here at the gate, and add it in as our starting position to align the IRS. Enter our route information, LFPO to ELLX, Echo Lima X-ray. We are flight number 43. Cruising altitude, flight level 190. Cruise winds are 267 at 37. ISA deviation is 0 degrees centigrade. Transition altitude. I don't know what the transition altitude is in France. Let's say it's 5,000. I don't know what it is, but it could very well be 5,000. I think Germany is 7,000. We'll use a relatively high cost index of 85. Our reserves are going to be 2.2 on the reserves. Zero fuel weight is 51.1. Let's go to the flight configuration screen and make sure our takeoff weight is, oh goodness, it's not, is it listed here? Don't see it listed here. Okay, so what we want to do is put in our block fuel of 5,100 pounds, total internal fuel, I'm sorry, 5,100 kilograms. So 5,100, 5,207 is about as close as I reasonably, maybe I get it just a little bit closer. 5,148. That's pretty close. 59, 6.7. That's only 3.3 kilograms difference between 5,100. So that'll be really good. And we don't have a takeoff weight in the SimBrief helper, and this screen won't let me add in a zero fuel weight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the actual SimBrief page, if I can find it. Well, I don't have it immediately available, but I'll get it real fast. And we have a takeoff weight of 56,093. So that's the number I wanted to get from there. $56,093 should be this number. And to make that number, we're not going to modify the fuel. Our fuel is correct as it is. We're just going to modify our payload so that it's 56,893, which would be right about there. That's 56,600. That's pretty close. And a center of gravity is okay. Great. And one limit. Nice long runways here at Paris Orly. So I'm going to use we have a capability of 26,000 pounds of thrust on a normal takeoff. We can derate to 24,000 or we can derate to 22,000 for noise abatement and engine life. So I'm going to derate to 22,000 and we're going to use a climb 2 setting, which is not as aggressive as a climb or a climb 1 setting. Flaps 15. Center of gravity has been calculated. Trim is 4.05. So we'll dial that. Oops. Let's dial 4.05 into our trim wheel. That's about right. We're going to verify the V-speeds. Go to our routing. We're going to be going to dicol, D-I-K-O-L. And then to Mike Delta. And then that is the end of our routing. But we're going to add in a departure of DICO 8T DICO 8T departure with no transition, runway 20, that's correct. And we're going to add in a arrival of the MMD5K. And that will be on runway 24, I believe. Great. So let's take a look at this routing. Go to the plan page. we'll step through the waypoints. Step, 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 step. I'm going to bring this out a little bit so I can get a better perspective. Step, step, step. And we're going to be heading to the east, head northeast, and loop around and approach from the west. So that looks good. Okay, that routing is fine. Do just a couple little housekeeping things here. I mentioned this is a brand new mod, and some of the configuration settings might not be to my liking. First of all, I don't like the distance rings. I'm going to get rid of those. Most of these are okay. I do like to have a satellite communication. I like the 2 decimal place radios rather than the more modern 3 decimal place. I like the call-outs. This is interesting. The flight management computer model. I don't know what the differences are between A1 and A2, but I believe that's new. I don't believe I've ever seen that choice. Nose wheel steering has to be on yaw if you're not using rudder pedals, I believe. We're in Europe, we're going to change our barrel units to hectopascals. I think we're set. Let's keep that camera over here. I have a habit of dragging cameras unnecessarily. So, Christy, are you ready to run a checklist? Let's run a checklist.
Before start checklist. Papers.
On board and checked.
Flight deck door.
Flight deck door is open, but we can close it if you really want. There it is. It's closed now.
Closed and locked.
Yes.
Fuel.
Fuel is 52 and change.
Pumps on.
Yes, thank you, Christy. Turning the pumps on.
Passenger signs.
Passenger signs are on.
On. Window.
Windows are locked.
Locked. MCP.
MCP, you know, I haven't dealt with the MCP quite yet, and that is my fault. Let's get the V speeds up here so I can put them in here. V2 is 132. We'll put that in the IAS Mach window. Heading, runway heading is 020, that's our runway. Altitude, we don't know what we're going to be cleared for initially, but I'll say 4,000. Well, now what I'll do a little trick. I don't know what altitude we're going to be cleared to initially, and I think it'll be about 4,000. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tune in 4,100. And that's a reminder to me that that's only a guess. When it becomes an actual cleared altitude, I'll round that to its actual altitude. But for right now, it's a guess, so we add in that little 100 extra. We'll turn the flight directors on. I'm going to leave the auto throttle arm off until we're at the runway. That can be dangerous to turn on because that could suddenly advance the throttle without much warning. Speed 132, heading 020, and altitude 4,100.
Speed 132. Heading 20. Altitude 4,100. Takeoff speeds.
Takeoff speeds are calculated.
V1 123. V rotate 124. V2 132.
What I like about her is she doesn't let me
CDU
cheat.
pre-flight.
CDU pre-flight is complete.
Completed. Rudder and aileron trim.
Rudder and aileron trim are set.
Taxi and takeoff briefing.
We'll do that when we get a clearance. I'll say completed, but we'll do that when we get a clearance.
Anti-collision light.
Anti-collision light.
On.
There you go.
Before start checklist completed.
Wonderful. Let's set up our air traffic control.
Alright, we've got it all strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
If you listen very carefully, you can hear the safety briefing going on in the back. I'm typing in our fixes, DIKOL, MMD, and then our departure airport and our arrival airport. And that should be enough to get Pilot to Air Traffic Control program started. And then what I will do is to set some parameters. Our cruising altitude is 190. I'm going to remain a 1,500 foot per minute climb rate, a 1,500 foot per minute descent rate. We can obviously do faster than that, but I like to have the expectations a little lower. Ground speed of 300, we actually can go faster than that, but again, keep the expectation a little on the low side. We're going to choose the SID, or Standard Instrument Departure, and ours today is runway 20. The departure is the Dick 08T, 5K off of runway 24. With the MMD transition, we'll load that in. Validate the flight plan. Connect to the simulator.
Orly information kilo, 11-0 Zulu wind for 209er at 12 knots. Sky condition VFR. Temperature 9, dew point 4. Current QNH is 1016. Arriving and departing runway 24. Orly information kilo, 11-0 Zulu winds for 209er at 12 knots. Sky condition VFR. Temperature 9, dew point 4. Current QNH is 1016. Arriving and departing runway 24. Orly information kilo, 11-0 Zulu winds for 209er at 12 knots. Sky condition VFR.
I'm going to move this conveniently to another screen. And let's get a clearance. Orly Tower. Ryanair 4-tree, ready to copy.
Ryanair 4-3 contact clearance delivery on 121.55. Have a nice day.
Contact clearance delivery on 121.55 Ryanair 4-3.
Orly clearance delivery, Ryanair 4-tree, ready to copy.
Ryanair 4-3 is clear to Lima Lima X-Plane, flight dedico 8 departure, with dedico transition, then smile. Expect departure runway 2. Flight level 150 via the departure. Expect higher clearance 6 minutes after departure. Departure on 127.75
Ryanair 4-3 is cleared to Echo Lima Lima X-ray, fly the Dico 8P departure, with the Dico transition, then as filed. Climb to flight level 150 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 9 minutes after departure. Departure on 127.75 squawk 3625.
Ryanair 43 readback correct. QNH is 1013 contact ground on 131.5 when ready for pushback, have a good one.
QNH is 1013 ground on 131.5 Ryanair 43.
Let's plan our pushback.
Ground to cockpit, blood on knowledge, call me through the menu when you are ready.
Brakes to RTO. I noticed by listening to the safety briefing there in the back, I don't know, it was very light. You had to really listen to it. But if you noticed, it was a Delta Airlines safety briefing, and we don't need that. We actually do have a Ryanair safety briefing. So let's...
Ryanair.
There we go, Ryanair. That's what we want. So let's say hi to the passengers.
Ladies and gentlemen from the pilot, this is your captain speaking. On behalf of all the crew, welcome aboard this flight. We expect to depart from official plane when our ready for decrease. Shortly, the cabin crew will be turning their space demonstration will do to your safety calculator out. This is Sydney on Pilot2. Once again, you're very welcome aboard.
Orly ground, Ryanair 43, request pushback and engine start.
Ryanair 43 pushback and engine start approved.
Pushback and engine start approved Ryanair 43.
With 2730, custom new departure frequency 125.7.
157. Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up. Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Elevator up.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Europa 092 Heavy Bravo, hold third whiskey.
Bravo, hold whiskey.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Before start
Ladies and
checklist.
gentlemen, welcome on board our flight today. Every member of our team is here
Papers.
to ensure that your journey is as pleasant and
Oh, I think
comfortable
we did
as
this
possible.
checklist.
We are honored that you have chosen to fly with us.
I'm sorry.
Flight deck door.
Your safety
Yeah,
and
we
comfort
did
are our
this
top
checklist.
priorities. So before the aircraft takes off, please pay
Closed
attention
and
to the
locked.
following safety instructions. Please fasten your
I
seatbelt
Fuel.
as
apologize.
needed.
We did
It
this
can be
checklist.
fastened
I'm sorry,
and
folks.
unfastened like this. We recommend
Let's
that
go
you keep
to
your
air
seatbelt
conditioning
fastened at all
packs
times,
off.
as turbulence can
Isolation
occur
valve
unexpectedly.
off.
In the likely event
We're
of
getting
a sudden loss of air pressure, oxygen
4,000
will drop from the panel
pounds
above
of
your seat.
pressure.
Remain
So
seated,
let's
pull
go
the mask
to
towards you, press it against your mouth and your nose, and continue to breathe normally.
ground on the number 2
Must fit
engine.
your own mask before helping others around you.
Let's
A life
monitor
jacket is
our
stowed
N1
under your
and
seat.
2.
When instructed to do so by the crew, pull the life jacket over your head, attach the strap to the hook in front, and pull tight to adjust it to your waist.
Pumps
Before
on.
leaving the aircraft, pull the red toggle sharply downward
Passenger
to inflate
signs.
the jacket. If you leave the aircraft through an emergency
On.
over the wing window exit, please inflate
Window.
the jacket outside. And if necessary, you can top up the air through the tube. Every life jacket has a lamp which lights up in the water when you pull this tab.
Locked.
All emergency exits include
MCP.
a luminous exit indicator. Photo luminescent strips on the floor will guide you to those exits.
Speed
Take
132.
the time to locate the exit nearest to you. It might be located behind your seat. To review these instructions, please refer to the safety card in the seat pocket in front of you. This or any other flight is a non-smoking flight. To bring you closer to the places you want to discover, to bring you closer to the ones you love, flying further each and every day in comfort and safety. That's our commitment to you. Enjoy your journey, and thank you for your attention.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Ground JetBlue 2737.
With 2737, yeah.
Hey, give it left Bravo short of Foxtrot.
Short of whiskey, please. JetBlue 2737.
Short of whiskey, red.
Windscreen heat on. Pitot static heat on. Left and right packs to auto. Isolation valve on. Let's get rid of the dual bleed. Let's turn on the hydraulic pressure. Let's go to taxi light on, runway turn off lights on. Strobe is on steady, but we'll get ready to move it to the on position here in a little bit.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
I think we're doing okay out here. You know, lately I have been having a problem with better pushback. They have not been disconnecting at the end of the push. And I hate to do this because it's such a great implementation. I have to disable better pushback to get it to disconnect. Paris ground, Ryanair 4 tree, ready for taxi, runway 24.
Ryanair 43 taxi to runway 24 via taxiways Lima 3, Whiskey 1, Whiskey 41, hold short runway 24.
Taxi to runway 24 via taxiways Lima 3, Whiskey 1, Whiskey 41, hold short runway 24 Ryanair 43.
Number 5367, follow the heavy 767 Delta at Whiskey, cross runway 31 right, monitor tower 123.9.
Oh, that guy on Whiskey, cross 31 right, and monitor tower 139, verify 367.
We're heading for runway 24, which is over here. and we are here, so we need to basically taxi to whiskey, and then down to whiskey 4-1 down this way. So the gist of it is to get on to taxiway whiskey. So taxi briefing complete. Takeoff briefing, we can do that. I'm going to do it. We are on the Decos. Oh.
Number 5397, Alpha, left Kilo Golf, left Bravo behind the Federal Express, monitor tower 123.9.
Deco 8P.
Alpha, Kilo Golf, Bravo, 123.9, number 5397.
Is there any faster way of doing this, I wonder? Well, I admit I don't want to page through all of this, so I am not going to find the SID chart. Okay, that's just the way it is. Sorry, folks. Okay. Let's get out to the runway. We have our taxi clearance.
Horizontal stabilizer trimmer not set for takeoff.
Delta 2623, cross runway 13 left Whiskey, taxi Charlie Echo, monitor tower 123.9.
Stabilizer trim should be at 4.5. 4.5 is the setting. Oh my goodness, you're right. We're at 5.5. We need to be at 4.5. Good catch, Christy. Good catch. That's why you're first officer.
Before taxi checklist. Generators.
Oh my goodness. Good catch, Christy. There you go. You got it. We're on the generators now. We can turn the APU off.
On. Probe heat.
Probe heat is on.
On. Anti-ice.
Anti-ice, we don't need it.
Wing anti-ice off. Engine anti-ice off. Isolation valve.
Isolation valve is on.
Auto. Engine start switches.
You go ahead and take care of those. Move those to continuous. There you go.
Continuous. Recall.
It is checked.
Checked. Auto brake.
Auto brake is to RTO.
Rejected takeoff. Engine start levers.
Engine start levers are in
Ground
idle
Delta 1150 is ready to taxi with Tango.
Flight control.
Runway 25 right, turn left onto Delta and hold short of Sierra.
25 right, left on Delta, hold short of Sierra, Delta 1150.
You're gonna bust my chops if we don't do a flight control check, aren't you? I know you are. So let's do one. Let's go to systems. Full down. Full neutral. Full up. Neutral. Right. Neutral. Left. Neutral. Rudder. Rudder right. Neutral. Rudder left. Neutral. And just for you, Christy, we'll do a spoiler. Spoilers. Neutral. How's that for a flight control test? Go back to the engines.
Checked. Flaps.
Flaps should be set for 15.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much for your attention. And now, we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the takeoff. We'll
Flaps
give you
is
a little
not
more
set
information
for
about our
takeoff
service
position.
plan and our flight as soon as we are in the air. Thank you again, and welcome aboard.
Before taxi checklist is not completed.
Flaps are set to 15, Christy. I know it's not what you... Okay, I'll tell you what. Set them...
Flaps 15 set.
There you go.
Flaps 10 set. Flaps 5 set.
Alpha 106 Heavy, hold for the Papa.
Before taxi checklist.
Alpha 106 Heavy.
Generators. On. Probe heat. On. Anti-ice. Wing anti-ice off. Engine anti-ice off.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will shortly be dimming the cabin lights for takeoff and
Isolation
once again for
valve.
landing. If you wish to, and if you are able to read, or if you are afraid
Auto.
of the dark, a reading light can be found in the panel above you.
Engine start switches. Continuous. Recall. Checked. Auto brake.
Cabin crew, please take your seats for takeoff.
Rejected takeoff. Engine start levers. Flight control. Checked. Flaps.
Now I set them at 5 for you, but we're going to use 15.
Flaps is not set for takeoff position.
My goodness, you just don't like 5 or 15. You're hard
Before taxi checklist is not completed.
You are hard to please, Christy.
Ground Delta 1150.
Before taxi checklist.
Yes, ma'am. You said give way to the American Emperor, but then you didn't give any instructions what he's flying.
Generators.
So you get to 25 right after that.
Sorry, Delta 1150 behind him, taxi via Delta Romeo, hold short
On.
of Charlie.
Delta Romeo, hold short of Charlie, Delta 1150.
Probe
thanks.
heat. On. Anti-ice. Wing anti-ice off. Engine anti-ice off. Isolation valve. Auto. Engine start switches. Continuous. Recall. Checked. Auto brake. Rejected takeoff. Engine start levers. Flight control. Checked. Flaps. Flaps is not set for takeoff position.
Well, darn it. We'll do it one more time at the correct flap
Before
setting
taxi
of 15.
checklist is not completed.
But if you don't like 15, which is the correct flap setting, 15, then we're going to continue on.
Before taxi checklist. Generators. On. Probe heat. On.
1298. Wait for 1737.
Anti-ice.
Pass eastbound and then push approved tail to the east, runway 24 left.
Okay, after the
Wing
7-3,
anti-ice
push
off.
east, tail east, 24 left, no, 12.
Engine anti-ice
Tail
off.
west, right?
No, tail east, Delta 1298.
Okay, tail east.
Isolation valve. Auto. Engine start switches. Continuous. Recall. Checked. Auto brake. Rejected takeoff. Engine start levers. Flight control. Checked. Flaps.
15.
Flaps 15 set. Green light. Detent.
My goodness, that was not good, Christy.
Ground equipment.
Clear.
Clear. Before taxi checklist completed.
You do keep me honest. That is good.
Before takeoff checklist. Flaps.
Flaps 15.
Flaps 15 set. Green light. Detent. Stabilizer trim. Is not set for takeoff position.
Southwest 684 is with you going to 18 Bravo.
Before takeoff checklist is not completed.
Well,
Okay, Echo, Ultra Delta 9, Southwest 684.
we're going to give up on that for today. That'll be something to work on in the future.
Ryanair 43 contact tower on 120.5. Have a good morning.
Tower on 120.5 Ryanair 43.
volumes are just a little on the low side, I think.
This is Microsoft David Desktop. I will be one of your random voices for this flight.
We have takeoff clearance. Let's... Oh. Landing lights on. Strobe lights on.
Tower through 1623, ILS 24 left.
Through 1623, heavy
transponder is in TARA mode.
There's a land runway 24 left.
Clear to land 24 left, through 1623.
Let's start the clock. And let's hit it.
Stabilized.
Throttle up.
Takeoff thrust set.
knots.
60 knots. Approaching transition.
Toga mode.
V1 rotate. Positive rate.
Positive rate.
Gear up.
Thousand to level.
400. 1,000 to go.
48,
Flaps up.
1,000.
Runway turn off, lights off. Taxi lights off.
1,000 to go.
Flaps 2 set.
Auto throttle on.
Transition level. Flaps 1 set. 1,000 to level off.
1,000 to go.
Flaps up set.
Look at those two planes in formation. Center, Ryanair 43, climbing through 1,500.
Ryanair 43, good morning. Radar contact.
Turkish TCA November December level 310, clear Relax 1 Alpha arrival.
Level 31, Relax 1 Alpha arrival.
center. Ryanair 43, request flight level 120.
Ryanair 43 negative. Climb via the Deco 8P departure to arrive at Po 300 and flight level 100.
Wilco, Ryanair 43. Heading 20. Altitude 10,000. Takeoff speeds.
Gladiator 9992, request getting 2905 to avoid.
9992, clear to avoid.
V1 123. V rotate 124. V2 132. DDU pre-flight. Completed. Rudder and aileron trim. Taxi and takeoff briefing. Approaching transition. Anti-collision light. On. Transition altitude. Before start checklist completed. After takeoff checklist. Engine bleeds. On. Packs. Auto. Landing gear. Up and off. Flaps. Up, no light, detent. Altimeters. Standard set, cross-checked. After takeoff checklist completed.
So what I want to do is go to the Avi tab and choose airport, and instead of Paris Orly, I want to type in the Luxembourg airport, and that is ELLX. Is that correct? Yes, ELLX. And we have, oops, that's not what I want. ELLX. Enter. There we go. 1158 on the altitude. Now there's two things I want to do with that. The first one is to put 1158 in the landing altitude. And then the second one is to put it in the Barrow setting for our decision height. So decision height's going to be 200 feet above ground level, so that's 1358 on the decision height.
Alpha Bulgaria 9er2 in heading 295, request descent.
Bulgaria 349 to descend flight level 140 after avoiding Pulangi.
Descent flight level 140 after baggage 210 for Bulgaria 999er2.
Just confirm point Langi.
After avoiding Pulangi by Bulgaria 999er2.
Thank you.
That's a little touchy. Oh, we got it in there. And let's go to our main menu, FMC, index. We are going to confirm our approach speed and flap setting, and that will put that reference right in the lower left corner of our primary flight display. And we are going to looking for. Okay, we don't have a completed flight plan. We don't have an arrival for ELLX. We should be on the runway 24, ILS 24, and the procedure is, let's remember what it is.
Hello, Antenna 78 Hotel Foxtrot, Antenna 380 direct Oxford.
Antenna 78 Foxtrot, Hotel Foxtrot, good evening, control, identify direct Lomos.
Direct Lomos, Antenna 78 Hotel Foxtrot.
LX24. I'm sorry, the MMD5K. The MMD5K. With the MMD transition. If we we go to index. Here we go. 110.7 on the frequency and 238 on the course. So let's dial in 238 on the course selectors. And 110.7 on the nav frequency. Oh, I mentioned I don't prefer these boxes. You know, should I? Let's go ahead and change it. I can use them. I just don't prefer them. Let's. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is why. Multi-mode receiver. No. Okay.
I have to tell you, I often make mistakes when I'm worried.
Oh, that's a shame.
Sun Express 1 Alpha.
Frequency is 110.7.
Sun Express 1 Alpha, good evening. Control identified.
These radios, they're simpler. They do the same job. Keep it simple, stupid. That's my motto. 110.7 in both radios. And let's see if there's an ATIS frequency for Luxembourg. $134,755. Now the problem with only 2-digit radios is that you don't see the last digit. Interestingly, I don't
Sun Express 1 Alpha, request heading 120 to avoid weather.
Sun Express 1 Alpha, clear heading 120.
I have an ATIS frequency in the Habitat, but I don't have an ATIS frequency. Oh, here it is, EL at 134.75. That's exactly what it should be. Okay, I'm happy. For a moment there, I thought I didn't have an ATIS frequency in Luxembourg. Let's quickly flip and tune it in.
Luxembourg information Lima, 1150 Zulu winds are 158 at 11 knots. Sky condition VFR. Temperature 8, dew point 3. Current QNH is 1017. Arriving and departing runway 24. Luxembourg information Lima, 1150 Zulu winds for 1.
Okay, the runway has not changed. The temperature and dew point have a good spread to them, so not much condition of fog. We're in visual flight conditions, so all of that is good. Center, Ryanair 43, request flight level 190.
Good morning, call me.
Ryanair 43, this is Paris. We cannot approve requests for altitudes.
Sure, Turkish 41.
That's not good.
33, maintain flight level 35 strong course Adoro.
Turkish 4133, hello, conscious identified. Seabird 105, anchor 128,650, bye-bye.
Move the strobe light into the strobe. It is in the strobe position. Thank you, Christy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. For your continued safety, our airline requires that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times while seated.
Bulgaria 9er, request direct landing.
Clear to landing.
Clear to landing, Fly Bulgaria, triple 9er 2.
Bulgaria 9992, contact approach 123.7.
123.7, Fly Bulgaria 9er 2, leg router. Turkish 4133 direct to outlet. Director upgrade. Circus Sport 133.
Ryanair 43 contact tower on 120.5.
Contact tower on 120.5 Ryanair 43. Tower Ryanair 43 at flight level 100.
Ryanair 43, good morning. Squawk 1200.
Second, did you squawk 1200? That means you canceled my flight plan. That's not good. Well, let's change that. Paris Center, Ryanair 43, ready to copy. Center, Ryanair 43, ready to copy.
Ryanair 43 clear VFR to Echo Lima X-ray with radar advisory service at flight level 195. Squawk 6356 advise of altitude changes en route. Departure on 127.75.
Cleared VFR to Echo Lima X-ray, maintain flight level 195, squawking 6356.
I don't want to fly VFR.
Departure on 127.75.
I don't want to fly
Ryanair
VFR. I
43.
want to fly...
Ryanair 43, you have not been given clearance yet.
I don't want to fly VFR. I want to fly IFR.
Set to Ryanair 43 at flight level 100.
Ryanair 43, good morning. Squawk 6356.
Squawk 6356 Ryanair 43.
Antenna set 1 Alpha, we carry weather.
Fastway 1 Alpha, clear to
Ryanair 43 contact Luxembourg approach on 120.87. Enjoy.
Approach on 120.87 Ryanair 43.
Total.
Approach Ryanair 43. I think I forgot to feed my cat. 100. Unhappy animal. Ryanair 43 radar contact.
You should
Ryanair
not
43,
ever
good morning.
forget to feed your cat.
Radar contact.
Japan 3 drop contact Nicola 1185.
Folks at home got to see a little chance to meet Sally. Sally's my cat, and she did not go unfed. There she is.